Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Paul George all made their debuts with their new teams in last night's Rockets preseason win over the Thunder. CP3 finished with 11 points and 7 assists and said his first game with James Harden was, quote, felt natural. Melo led the way with 19 points for OKC, and Paul George added 15. Skip, what did you learn last night?
I learned a lot. First of all, Joy, Mr. Sharp, I want to remind you, I started covering the National Basketball Association back in the 1970s and all through the 80s and the 90s. NBA preseason games were just that. They were afterthoughts. Nobody cared. Even if you were covering the team, you half-watched it, and nobody attended, nobody cared. I saw a stunning new development last night in, of all places, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I saw 4 superstars take their first preseason game out of 4 as seriously as you would normally take a playoff game, because all 4 had something to prove, and it was on national TV because it was on NBA TV. First of all, I saw a Carmelo Anthony go into watch this New York mode right out of the box. And by the way, that game was being televised up against the Yankees game, obviously on ESPN last night. But here was Carmelo Anthony in Tulsa, Oklahoma, saying, watch this. Let me show you, New York Knicks fans, how much I still have left in my tank. And he came down and made Oklahoma City's first shot a 3, and Carmelo went on to play the entire first half of the first preseason game and score 19 points. Pretty impressive. He looked like old Melo to me. Yeah. In fact, he looked more revived, more energetic than I saw him all of last year. And I watched a bunch of Melo games last year. I saw more activity from Carmelo. I saw just more happiness, general aura from him than I saw all of last year as he was stuck under Phil Jackson with the New York Knicks.
Yes.
And yet, in the end, there was something I didn't see for the Thunder. Obviously, Paul George played also and played very well. He scored 15. Russell Westbrook did not play last night. Because Russell Westbrook, by the way, was getting a PRP shots. You know PRP shots? Yeah. They're pretty serious business. Platelet-rich plasma. It means there's something going on with your knee that's not all that great. He's still having some sort of lingering soreness from his operations that he's had in the past. So he sat out, which meant that the show belonged to Carmelo and Paul George. And they blended, man. They look great together. Guess who's coming back? I hope for his sake he's coming back. And then we'll start to see what really happened.
Okay.
But Carmelo had a chance, a solo stage, if you will, to say, New York, here's what I got left. And he showed up for a half. Now let's switch over to the other side. I was one of the first, I think, to question, really? James Harden is going to give up the basketball to CP3, who is obviously a pass-first point guard?
Absolutely.
When James tried to become a pass-first point guard last year, and I thought he succeeded. I thought he was sensational.
Led the NBA in assists.
He did. So last night, I was shocked by what I saw, the chemistry between the two, and they have worked hard on it. They played a Drew League game together. They played all kinds of pickup games in Las Vegas and New York and L.A., and then they called a players-only mini camp that they put together in the Bahamas for their team. So they have been working hard at chemistry and flow. And I saw it in full force last night. And I got to tell you, very early, but I was impressed because James wound up with 10 assists last night and Chris wound up with 7 assists. Now, Chris got 5 of those assists while James was resting. And again, they're trying, the system is supposed to be, you know, where you'd be 14 minutes of rest, 14 minutes of rest for each of them, so that one guy would play point guard while the other was trying to get a little fresher than James was able to stay last year when he hit the wall against the Spurs when they finally just fell apart. So the point was last night that you want to talk about a three-point shooting dynamo? They come out and make 24 of 55 threes in an exhibition game. And remember, they shattered the NBA record for makes and attempts last year. And all of a sudden, they make 24. They made 14 a game last year. They made 24 last night. They are off to the races. And I thought it was very interesting that Chris Paul said, it's too much fun, man. So fun was the operative word. I thought Carmelo was having fun last night. Paul George was having fun. And Chris was having a whole lot of fun. getting the ball to all those shooters. They got an array of shooters. They are deadly snipers. And it was fun to watch. I was trying to watch both of them at once, but every time I looked up, the ball was going in the basket from 3 for the Houston Rockets. So I'm impressed early on. I thought they would struggle, and they might when the real games start, but so far, so great.
You say you've been covering the NBA since the 40s. Have you ever seen this kind of turnover in the offseason in your 40 years of covering the NBA basketball?
Not since the 40s, the 70s.
I say you've been covering the basketball for 40 years.
For 40 years. You said the 40s, but
yeah,
that's okay.
40s.
I thought you were making a joke, but you really weren't.
No.
But that's okay. So I have not, but I have never seen this much interest in, number one, a summer league, and number two, the first exhibition game. I've never seen anything like it before.
But you got superstars.
Superstars changing teams,
yes.
and you have kids like Lonzo Ball coming in and just lighting it up, and people are saying, I can't wait for the real games.
Has anybody ever questioned whether or not Carmelo Anthony had the ability to score the basketball? He scored 19 points in 20 minutes. Can you please tell the people at home how many assists he had?
0. But when does he ever have any assists? He did get 4 boards. That was
ta-da!
Well,
that's my point. Carmelo Anthony can score with the best of them, presently or ever.
I don't know. I mean, I was starting to wonder last year. He was playing with that proverbial piano on your back.
No, he had well, the piano wasn't on his back. The piano was in the front office. That was Phil Jackson, because it made it very uncomfortable for Carmelo. When you got, I mean, think about it. You got your president of basketball operation taking shots at you at every turn. Every article, every interview, he's saying something, he's a ball stopper. It's the black hole. Carmelo needs to go somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And Carmelo just got tired of it. He just, whatever. Now, we know Paul George. Paul George can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. But you also mentioned there was no Russell Westbrook.
No.
Now, when he gets back, and in preseason, everybody's going to be doing all their thing. They're going to be trying, I can play with him. I can play with that. But when the rubber meets the road and these games start to count, we're going to see how well they can blend. Also, Chris Paul, James Harden. Now, Mike D'Antoni says, he wants to try to stagger the minutes. He want to play this minute. But what happened when James Harden gave you that side eye? He started looking at you like.
On the bench.
Yeah.
Well, D'Antoni made a joke about it. I guess that death stare he called it. Then I'll have to
he was up there, he's like.
It's not a bad James Harden impression.
Look, you and I both know, Skip, it's easy to play in the preseason. It's when these games start to count, and then these egos, because everybody that's on the team, Paul George has been the man. Carmelo Anthony has never not been the man. Russell Westbrook says, I am the man. Chris Paul, normally used to having the basketball. James Harden, since he's been in Houston, had the basketball. Then and only then can you get a true test to see what they're actually going to be. And in OKC, who takes the last shot, Skip?
Well, obviously Russ does.
Whoa. No,
he did when Durant was there.
Big shot. But that was the problem.
Yeah.
Well, what about Melo? Melo said, I'm a big shot maker and taker.
He is.
What about Paul George? Paul George said, I take big shots.
He is not a big shot.
A big shot taker.
I mean, George Paul, right?
No, Paul George says, I'm a big shot taker and maker.
He's a big shot misser.
Don't do that, Skip.
Yeah, well, he is. He's the third wheel, and it's okay.
He ain't no third wheel.
He is.
No, he's the second wheel.
Yeah.
Carmelo's third.
Yeah. I don't think Carmelo's going to live with that. He might go New York.
I don't know how this deal fell apart, because we had a deal on draft night that was going to send Carmelo and Paul George to Cleveland. How in the heck did that deal fall apart? Somebody must have been on that thing then, Skip. Somebody was drinking. Somebody fell asleep at the wheel. If I'm LeBron, I demand answers. Who see, I knew it. See, LeBron vouched.
Hey, it turned out better this way. You got Dwayne Wade. I'll take Dwayne over Carmelo any day.
No.
Yes.
All I know is LeBron James vouched for somebody. Said, nah, we don't want this to happen. I want to keep my I want to keep my sidekick and see what it get him. That's okay. Bron, you live and you learn. Everybody there ain't your friend. I mean, you try to help somebody.
You want to keep his little sidekick?
Yeah, you gave. I mean, you gave that
diminish and demean Kyrie Irving as your little sidekick.
As he said, I gave him that DNA. How to be a better passer. How to be a better leader. How to defend.
Kyrie gave LeBron a ring by closing the deal in Game 7.
He ain't gave him nothing. He gave him 100. What about the time he's injured? What did he give him? That first finals game. What was Kyrie?
Which first final? When he got hurt?
Say it
You mean
again.
going back to the first Golden
Yeah.
State series?
And then he missed the first 22, 25 games of the next year.
Yeah.
LeBron held it down.
Yeah, and LeBron had a 2-1 lead that year. No Kyrie, no Kevin Love. But he's 2-1 with the game 4 in his house.
Playing with
And he came up smaller than Kyrie.
playing with those mop buckets?
Huh?
Really?
Really?
What with Dellavedova? I mean, think about it.
Hey, Delly's
Matthew-
taking that series over.
Matthew Dellavedova was the second best player
Yeah.
on the Cavs.
Yeah. He was giving Steph some fits. in
Yeah,
that
he
series.
gave some fits to
Yeah.
the tune of 20. Steph averaged 25. Then he gave him some fits. I'm glad he didn't give him no more of those fits.
Yeah.
You know and I know.
LeBron should have closed that deal.
Don't
They're
worry
up
about it.
2-1 with game 4.
Stop,
You're
Skip.
Go look at what happened.
It
He
should
shot
be-
like 7 for 30 or something.
The man,
Come on.
the man had to wear.
Yeah.
Had 30. He averaged 35, 13, and 9.
Mm.
Skip. Dang.
Mm.
I mean, what do you want him to do? The man doesn't shop. He tired. Like my grandma said, boy, I'm tired. Go in there and fix your own plate.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he done did
I
everything.
thought he was the fittest human on the planet. And that's all I heard after game 4. He ran out of gas. Poor LeBron ran out of gas.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well,
Why you-
seriously.
Skip, why you do
That's
that?
all I heard.
Why you do that?
Let's give him a pass. The fittest player on the planet ran out of gas.
It happened.
In the 4th game
It
of the
happened.
NBA Finals.
No,
And that was it.
what
It was
about
over.
what about Russ?
Hmm?
Did Russ
What
run out
about
of gas? Those games that had the lead going into the fourth quarter, and when he shot like 2 of 14, you ain't say nothing about it.
Nobody says Russ is LeBron James.
And they better not say it either. They better not say nobody's LeBron James, but LeBron James.
I'll say
Well,
Kevin
Kevin
Durant
Durant.
is LeBron
Kevin Durant,
James.
don't do that, Skip.
Well, who was the MVP of the finals? God,
Skip.
it's over.
He
It's
won-
okay. He being second best player is not all
No,
bad.
I'm not taking anything away.
I'll give you LeBron's the second best. No, I won't. I'll give you because Kawhi. I forgot about Kawhi. Sorry.
What do all the general managers say? What do all the polls say? Braun, number 1. Again for the 7th straight year. He don't even know what it's like to be number 2. Okay, in the finals he did. But it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. Kyrie went 0 for
Thank
7
you.
on the
The
Case
3.
Patriots
closed.
fix their terrible defense. We'll discuss that with Ray Lewis next.
It wasn't his fault.